Hi everyone, my name is Evie Meg. I'm 21 years old and I have Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome is a neurological condition, which means that the signals in my brain are just going crazy all the time, making me twitch and make noises that I really have no control over. So my Tourette's first started when I was 12 years old, but at the time I didn't know what Tourette syndrome was and no one knew what was wrong with me. My first tics sounded identical to a hiccup, but I would have them hundreds of times a day, all the time, like constantly. So we went to the doctors thinking that maybe there was something wrong with my diaphragm where hiccups come from. But of course that wasn't. And that was the only tic that I had for years that I know of. And then when I was 16, so another 4 years later, I started developing more tics. I started clapping, my head started jerking, I started shouting wow. I started getting a lot more tics. And they became bad for a few weeks, and then they went mild again, and then they went bad again, and then they went mild again. Although I had all these tics that I was presenting, I have another neurological condition which also has tics as one of the symptoms. So the doctors told me that my tics were from that. About 3.5 years later, I was out for a walk with my parents and my tics started getting really bad. And I felt all this energy going through my veins and I felt really uncomfortable and fidgety and I couldn't sit still, I couldn't stand still, I couldn't just walk normally while we were by the river. And I had my first tic attack. My tics just exploded and they've been like this ever since. At the time of that tic attack, I was actually a teaching assistant in reception class with 4 and 5-year-olds. And I was absolutely loving my life. Working with kids is something I've wanted to do since I was very, very tiny. I've always loved babies, children, I just love them. But when my tics got bad, I had to make the decision to leave. I couldn't be in a classroom with kids making these noises and, you know, throwing my hands around. What if I ruined their painting? Something like that. So I had sort of been thinking about it, and then the coprolalia started, which is the swearing tic. And then I knew for definite that I would have to leave and I wouldn't be able to go back. I finally had it and I was doing well, and then I had to let it go again and I was just absolutely gutted. Because my tics had become so severe, after a whole 7 years of ticking, I was finally diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. Thankfully though, since then I have written a book, I have become big on social media, and I absolutely love talking to you and telling you my story and educating everyone about Tourette syndrome. I am going to have Tourette syndrome for the rest of my life and I have adjusted to that.